I'm very pleased to be able to speak today with Mr. Paul Chow, until recently the Chief Executive of Hong Kong Exchange, one of the fastest growing and definitely the most important exchange in this time zone, and perhaps one of the most important in the world. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
How does it feel to be retired after so
quite
many
relaxing.
years?
No more work pressure, no more work stress.
What were the last few things that you were working on just before you retired?
For the past few years, I've been very focused on the core strength of the exchange and its core businesses. Essentially, I focus on ensuring that the infrastructure meets with the demand of the market, the technical systems up and running all the time. I have to say that over the past few years, none of our technical system, including the trading system, clearing and settlement, and information dissemination system, have experienced any downtime. Right? This is due to the immense effort of my IT colleagues at Exchange.
Are you personally a very IT-oriented man? Is IT something that you understand well and you've dealt with over the years?
I start as an engineering graduate in the late 60s, and I've been working with IBM for a few years. So I would say that engineering and IT are the first disciplines that I have, and then gradually I migrate to finance because I took an MBA
right.
In the evening classes for 4 years. And then I move on to run the operations of a broker's house, a bank,
right.
and then move on to the exchange. So I would have to say that
you understood the
I
back
understood
office
the
very,
technology,
very well.
the capability.
Because
although I have to say that my technical knowledge possibly has been obsolete now.
Well, you were a business user in that sense.
Yeah, I am a
business
user.
Because it says here that you were very proud of your achievement in terms of building the central clearing and settlement system and the automatic order matching and executing system, basically. How important was that, were those two components as part of the infrastructure?
That's very important because in 1987, the Hong Kong Exchange stopped for 4 days. It was largely due to the backlog in the settlement. So essentially, Ian Hay-Davidson, the consultant appointed by the government of Hong Kong, recommended we should consider establishing a central clearing system. Without a central clearing system, we cannot have an auto trading system. So that was what we did in the late 80s and early 90s. It has taken us altogether 4 to 5 years to complete this infrastructure. And then obviously move on to other technical platforms.
How do you move from there to creating greater diversity in what you're doing and also responding to new challenges?
The issue in Hong Kong is that we have a lot of brokers. We have 460 brokers in Hong Kong, and they range from the biggest one to very small one. The small ones are mostly local brokers.
One man, two
Yeah,
man.
we have a few people.
Right.
Broker's house. At the same time, we have very big international brokerage houses in Hong Kong.
Yes.
So the requirements are very different. However, when we do very good consultation with the brokers, normally we can get out from them what they want. And we have been able to cater the needs of the international as well as the local brokers, the big, the medium and small brokers.
Do you feel like you've carried the small brokers along with you as you automate, as you create this?
What I can say is that we actually work with both the international and local brokers. For example, our system is so flexible that if you are a big one, you can connect your own trading system to the exchange trading system, and then you can implement multi-station, workstation, use your software and so forth. But then if you are small brokers, you may be satisfied with operating, say, 1 or 2 terminals. So there's a huge diversity in the trading system that we provide to the market.
what would you say to the criticism that Hong Kong Exchange is way too focused on equities at the expense of, other asset classes, and especially, derivatives and so on? And what is your paradigm in that?
I think it's a misunderstanding. If you look at the derivative volume in Hong Kong, we actually rank very high. But I have to say that nearly all of our all our derivatives are financial derivatives, right? Because we only have a gold futures, right? I think our trading volume in derivatives exceed many in Asia.
Right, but as a percentage of your total volume,
it's still quite high. I think our volume is still quite high in the derivatives. We have very successful products, the index futures, the stock options. If you include the warrants and the CBBC, which is a type of contract for differences, we rank very high. I mean, we are the #1 in the world in terms of trading volume of the warrants business. And also, we have very vibrant trading in the callable bull and bear contracts. So in terms of financial derivatives, I think we have done very well. And then if you look at the notional value, it's even higher in the global ranking.
right? Now, is that a function of the appetite of the local customer base for warrants, for derivatives, or is it driven by the institutional investor? Who actually shapes the profile of the appetite of the Hong Kong
The
market?
market has changed over the past 2 decades with more participations from the international brokers, the institutional investors. So this has changed the ranking of the brokers. Today, if you look at the cash market, 15 of the large brokers have more than 50% of the trading volume. And then if you look at the derivative market, most of them, the market makers are international brokers. So obviously, warrants market and CBB's market do attract a lot of interest from the local investors. Some of them may be speculators. Some of them people call them punters. However, they do provide liquidity to the market.
As the market expands, it's not just the exchange itself that is the primary platform. You have new players, electronic players coming on stream. Looking at it from a geopolitical perspective, it appears that Hong Kong Exchange is somewhat reticent to broaden the participation of non-traditional players. The dark pools, for example, the electronic exchanges and so on. Is that perception correct?
I don't think the exchange objects the operation of dark pool in Hong Kong. I think the question is whether the dark pool can find business in Hong Kong, right? I believe there are dark pools operating in Hong Kong. There are concerns about transparency of how dark pools operate. The other is actually, if you look at the securities industry in Asia, the trading volume is very small, right? So whether any dark pool can financially survive or not is a question that the dark pool operators will have to consider. I believe one of the biggest impediment to dark pools operating in Hong Kong is that whatever you do, you still have to pay stamp duty, right? So the advantages of dark pool operating in Hong Kong is hampered by the fact that it doesn't save a lot of cost.